Right then, this is the Fujifilm X100V. Most of you guys will know that the V stands for the 5th generation in this fixed lens camera from Fujifilm. Now, I get attached to cameras, I really do. Especially Fujifilm cameras, I really do get attached to them. I know it's just a camera and you could always buy another one, but for some reason I get attached to Fujifilm cameras. I haven't got attached to my Sony, I don't know why, I don't, but the X100F, when I Partex that for this, I did get attached to it. And yeah, it's got some really fond memories, so this is a big deal for me, but the upgrade and what this camera offers as far as an upgrade seemed to be just too big a deal for me to leave. So I'll talk you through it. There's a bit of a story with my X100 series because I never got on with it initially. I bought the X100S a long time ago, bought it as a travel camera because I was using the XT1 professionally and I wanted something smaller that I could go traveling on. I think we went to Venice or something like that. And I couldn't explain to the missus why a fixed lens camera was going to be okay and all this sort of thing, and she had to go with it. She didn't get on with it, and we bought the XT1 as well, and I think I preferred the 50mm equivalent at the time, full frame equivalent. So I had a 35mm 1.4 on the XT1, and I just didn't get on well with the X100S. I found the EVF, the slow, low res EVF and stuff like that. So I didn't have it long. It went back. So what I wanted was a couple of years later, I was going traveling again. I desperately wanted something that fit the same description. So a lot of my friends were using the X100F and they absolutely loved it. So it was a huge upgrade. So I gambled. I didn't think I was going to love it as much as I did. And I gambled. I bought it not even a year ago at the photo show last year. So when I Partex mine, it wasn't even a year old. So I wasn't expecting to like it, but it turned out that camera transformed my photography. It was a camera that I didn't want to put down. If I went anywhere, the camera would come with me. It would go in any pocket. If I was going just, I don't know, walk around the lake with a dog or on a holiday, I never felt like I was limited because I knew I had the X-T2 sensor in it. I knew that, you know, above, say, f4, the lens was fine on it. It was never perfect coming from the Fujifilm Primes, but it was good. It was a great camera. Really enjoyed using it. Obviously very small, very pocketable. It wasn't without its faults. There was a few quirks to it, but yeah, I really did learn to love that camera, so much so that I actually used it professionally. I used to have, if I was shooting a wedding or event or something, I'd have the X-T3, X Pro 2 or something with a prime on, and I'd always have my X100F on a strap round me there with what they call a Peak Design strap, because it was so small, so low profile, it would just stay there. So it just meant even if I swapped the lenses off the other cameras, I'd always have a 35mm prime f2 around my neck. So yeah, I learned to absolutely love the X100F, and obviously with my street photography, it's just the perfect camera. So when this was announced, it basically ticked all the boxes that I wanted from the X100F, all the improvements I could get from the X100F. This offered them. Mainly the weather sealing. I always felt that the X100F should have been weather sealed. For me, it was a street photography travel camera. I took it on a few landscape hikes. I used it at work, and I got caught out in the rain a few times. So I just felt, especially for the money, it should have been a weather sealed camera. So the biggest upgrade I could have asked for was weather sealing. Now, at the time of recording this, I haven't got Fuji haven't sent me the lens cover ring to go on the front there. So this isn't technically weather sealed at the minute, but it will be very soon because I'll have that adapter which goes on the front of there. So yeah, the weather sealing is my main reason for buying this, I think. This very closely followed by the res of the lens and the sharpness of the lens. This is hugely improved. Now I'll include a couple of raw files which I took in the camera shop of some pins or something like that, some pin badges that I took on the X100F, exactly the same settings I took on the X100V. And quickly looking in, I mean, I literally very quickly did it. It was a bit of a rush, so very quickly when I picked this up, I took a few snaps. So yeah, you can download them, the links in the bottom, just have a look. And they're both f2 to 1/250th of a second, ISO I think was 800, so you'll be able to see. I tried to get them in exactly the same position, close enough anyway. So from very brief inspection, I had this camera, I haven't had this camera long, so I haven't had a chance to have to do much comparison, but I know that f2 at certain distances, the old f2 was fine. Above sort of 2 or 3 meters, I didn't find the f2 to be an issue, but certainly closer up, the f2 lens was a pain. And borderline unusable for me. So that was another reason why, for professional work, if I ever had anybody come up to me quite close and I had the 35mm equivalent, I was always scared to use it at f2, but now I've got this, I'm really happy to see that they've changed. It's got a new version, a completely new designed lens. So that's going to transform the way I use this camera and the way I see this camera as a professional tool. So yeah, super excited and major pleased that Fujifilm have seen that is something that they needed to have done. So yeah, huge improvement. If anything, for me, the weather sealing and the sharpness in the lens and just being able to use it throughout and get better resolution is enough to justify this purchase. Another thing I really like is the tilty screen. So if you turn it around, I'll say it's an invisible tilty screen. Actually, when it collapses, I'll put some close-up footage, but you can't feel. You can hardly feel. It's completely recessed. They've done an amazing job of getting that screen completely flat, and it's only for this little lever on the side. It's just incredible how they've done that. So you could almost, if you didn't want a flippy screen on the back of this camera, you'd hardly not notice it. It's incredible, actually. So yeah, the tilt screen, the screen res is incredible. Although the screen res and EVF res was okay on the other camera, it was never a bugbear for me. It was never a deal breaker. So it's nice to see they've upped it, but it was never a big deal for me. I've always got on well with that. I'm not sure. I mean, people mentioning like the clickiness of the aperture wheel and stuff like that, and the dials, they were never a problem on the other camera for me. There I very rarely knocked the manual focus, a single consistent focus, continuous focus, should I say. I never knocked them. I was always all right with that. But the diopter, they've made that more clicky. So that's it looks like it's in a knockable place still. It still looks like it's in a knockable place, but it is better. It is a lot better. I didn't actually know about this, but if you lift the ISO ring there, you can actually leave that, change the ISO and leave that dial up. So the other day I was actually doing some street photography in London, and because I was filming with my left hand, I couldn't actually change the ISO because I hadn't had the ISO dial assigned to that front jog dial there. I never did that. I always used the ISO up there, so I was always having to lift it, turn it, put it down. But this actually stays there, so you can adjust the ISO like that and just leave it. So if you're constantly adjusting your ISO, you can just leave it up there, and then obviously just drop it down to fix it. But I really like that stays up, and you can just adjust the ISO. It's good for street photography because a lot of time I'm shooting at f8, I'm shooting at 500th of a second, and it's just the ISO that I want to fine tune. So yes, obviously it's got a position on there called C, so you can put it to C. When I go back to C, where's C? There's C. So I can put it to C, and I've actually assigned it to go on the front dial now anyway, which I probably should have done to start with on the X100F. But I always liked it just being there out of the way, and as well, you can't knock that. If I knock that accidentally, it means the ISO is going to change. So in a way, I'm a bit worried about having the ISO on that dial and it not being locked and secured there. But yeah, that's a fantastic thing. I didn't know it did that. So yeah, really pleased with that. Okay, not negatives as such, because there are no negatives. I went for the silver on this occasion as well. The reason being because I had a black X100F before. My X100S was silver, but I'd never really liked the finish of the silver. I always thought it looked a bit, not cheap, but not premium. Whereas this silver is absolutely beautiful. It is gorgeous, especially where they've sharpened the edges around there. The silver absolutely shines. It really does. So as soon as I seen the silver, I thought, obviously I went for black because obviously it's more stealth. People don't notice the camera so much for street photography over weddings or whatever. It's not so obvious. But when I seen this silver, I thought I've got to have that. It's absolutely beautiful. So yeah, giving the silver a go on this occasion, and I'm really pleased I have. The things I never liked about the X100F, one of the main things was this door here, because of the way that flap sticks out a little bit there. Well, you can see that, but That flap sticks out a little bit there. That always annoyed me on the X100F, and I used to have a grip on mine just so that I didn't catch that. Now it's still there on the X100V. I don't think it's quite as bad. I don't feel like because they've got rid of the D-pad, I don't think it's quite as obvious in my hand. But that little lip there, in honesty, I wish they'd have got rid of. Like, even on the old XT1, it used to pull forward, pull backwards, and then and you could open it. That flap there, I don't know if that affects its weather sealing either. I'm sure it's fine, but that little flap there, I wish they hadn't put that little lip on there. That's one of the only things I've noticed on this. In fact, so far it might be the only thing I've noticed on this camera I don't like. The removal of the D-pad. Initially, my muscle memory is telling me I'm going to miss them buttons, because I used to have down for my 2-second timer, left I'd have for my natural live view to toggle between that, right would be to change the film profiles, and up would be to change the AF mode. Now, when you're actually doing, especially street photography, you don't actually change those things during. I shoot raw, I always leave it on black and white, I never use the timer, I never change the photo mode, the focus mode, because I'm always either manual focus, back button focusing. So during the actual shoot, I'm not going to miss it. Psychologically, I'm telling myself, where's my buttons, you know? But because they've got rid of it, you have got this extra just area that you can just rest your thumb, and it basically means that thing there is noticeable. The Q button, obviously, they've put to the side, so that's not going to be pressed accidentally. So they've given you this huge space there that you can rest your thumb. I think that's massive. I think that's really, really good. I know it's touchscreen. I don't get on with touchscreens. It's okay for landscape photography because you can touch the areas you want to focus stack, that sort of thing. But for street photography, I definitely don't want touchscreen. So I've turned touchscreen off. I don't want my nose moving the focal point or anything like that. So yeah, touchscreen is off with me. Because I normally keep the area point center focus. So double clutch that, go straight to the center, and then I can pre-focus wherever I want to be. I might move the focal point to I don't know. I don't tend to do that. For a wedding or an event, I might move the focal point over, but because I don't very often do it, I'm happy to use the joystick for that. So yeah, really relieved that it works really smoothly. I mean, if you do like touchscreen, I have played with a touchscreen on. It's absolutely perfect. It's every bit as good as my iPhone. So the touch capabilities on this are perfect. You won't be disappointed there. But no, the focusing. Depends how you use the camera. I don't tend to use this camera for anything like an X-T3 or an X Pro 3 or whatever you buy even. It's not as fast focusing as, say, some of the primes, some of the F2 primes on an X-T3. It's not as fast. But it is fast enough, and it's snappy, and it's far better than the old version was. So it's a huge improvement as far as the AF on the old lenses. But it doesn't compete with the F2 primes, obviously, on the X-T3 or something like that. But it doesn't have to, because it's not that sort of camera. When I've been photographing my little boy Ellis, just playing with the camera, just in the house, just getting used to it, getting set up and everything. And I tried the IAF. Now, Fuji IAF for me, and because obviously I shoot Sony as well, mainly for video really, but if I need to use IAF, I'll use my Sony. Fuji just isn't there. Now, this is good. It does show the IAF on the eye. Still not quite there. It is good. I don't use IAF anyway, really, on a moving subject. If I was going to, I'd use the Sony for it. If I was doing portraits or something like that, headshots, then I would. But I wouldn't be worried about the person moving all around. But you wouldn't use this camera for that. This camera's not for that. It's an amazing travel photographer's camera. It's an amazing street photographer's camera. It's a great walk around, just put in your pocket, do anything, pretty much anything. It's a 35mm lens camera. It just does everything. I don't think you'd buy it as being a fast focusing, fast tracking camera. It does have good capabilities. It is better, a lot better. If you're coming from the X100 ST or the F, you're gonna love it. It is an upgrade, but I wouldn't buy this camera for those capabilities. Kids running around the garden at f8 or f5.6, I don't think you're going to have any issues with them then. F2, it's not the camera I'd reach for, I don't think. But yeah, I literally haven't really had much of a chance to play with it, so I might be being a tad unfair there. If you've got good contrast, good light, I'm sure it's fine. But I imagine the hit rate isn't quite as good as the X-T3, so I wouldn't imagine this is the... It's still got that slight clatter with the lens. It's still got that... It's still got that... Oh, well, you can, if I put it by the microphone. Yeah. It's still got that slight clatter, so it's definitely not going to be as fast a focusing as the F2 Prime. So if you're looking for that sort of camera, you might want to buy the 23mm Prime and stick it on an X-T3 or an X Pro 3 or something like that. Yeah, but what it's intended for, I think it's near perfect. I really, really like it. Obviously, the first thing I did was put my playback assigned to that button there, and on this button there, I have this one, so it toggles between natural live view and the sort of JPEG preview. So I love being able to see, I press on the back there, I love being able to see a flat view, and so it means I get my histogram more accurate. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased with the camera. I think they've done a fantastic job. I know the video specs are really good as well. Now the X100F has actually saved my bacon on a few times as when I needed another camera to do filming. So yeah, having a better lens at f2 and f2.8 for filming is going to be really helpful. So that's another reason. I'm looking forward to experimenting with the zone limitation, so the focus limitation, so it will only focus between a certain two distances. You can set that up, and I think that's what the yellow bar is that's running across the bottom there, because I've not set the limit up. At the minute it's doing a full range, so it'll focus straight in front of me now, and it'll focus at infinity. But yeah, as long as you've got good contrast, I reckon it focuses fine. I think it's definitely an improvement. But yeah, I'll definitely have to give it more. I mean, it's never going to be the way I intended to buy this camera anyway, so it wouldn't bother me even if it didn't focus any faster than the X100F. So I'm really, really pleased with it. I certainly love the weather sealing, love the improved sharpness on the thing, and yeah, the tilt screen for me, I think they've done an absolute fantastic job on that tilt screen. The X-T3 has a tilt screen that will tilt that way. Now, street photography, quite often I do use that. But it's not a deal breaker. I can live without my tilt screen vertical, but yeah. So I'm really, really pleased with it. It's my desert island camera basically. If I could only take one camera, one lens, it would be this. It just does everything. It doesn't hinder you down. If I'm going hiking with a load of friends who are super fit and they're going to make me look an idiot, and I need to get up the mountain as quick as possible, this is the camera I'm going to stick either on a capture plate there, or in the bag, or in the pocket, or whatever, because it's not going to hold me back. I just love the 35mm, and now that it's weather sealed. So yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled with it. So yeah, a few of the things I've noticed as well, it feels like slightly thicker in the hand. I don't know if it is or not. I don't know if it's just the slightly redesigned grip, but it actually feels easier to hold than the X100F. I had to have a grip on for that, so really pleased that it doesn't feel like a need to buy a grip. I probably will still anyway, just to protect the camera a little bit, but it doesn't feel like a need to buy the grip. So it is a bit of an improvement. Just that way there, it just feels thicker. The other thing I've noticed, I don't know if this is the case, but the histogram box on the back seems clearer. I don't know why, but no matter where I point the camera, it always seems I can see the histogram a bit clearer on this. And that's one of the bugbears I've got with my Fuji cameras, is that histogram is so small. And I love being able to see my histogram dead clearly. And sometimes you just can't quite see the right hand side of it. But on this one, it does actually seem that I can see a very, very clear histogram there, which is nice. So yeah. So all in all, it's, for me, a big upgrade. It is. I've just knocked that ISO dial now already, so that is going to come off that. I'm not going to get on with that ISO dial there. That is coming off there. I've just knocked it already. Yeah, so yeah, change of plan on that one. That ISO dial didn't last very long at all, did it? But no, huge upgrade for me. I'm really pleased with it. I think they've definitely built a very premium looking camera, a very premium feeling camera. They've got the lens problems that should have been fixed, I think, on the F really. They've fixed the lens on this. Yeah, I'm really, really pleased with it. I'm looking forward to doing some testing. The only thing I probably would say, I wish there was another custom button. I'm not sure if there is. There's only one custom button at the minute. That one there. I'm not sure whether or not all these other buttons are customizable. the menu button obviously isn't that play button. I wish that, well, either these two, I wish these were both customizable, because I use that as a play button. So, and the delete drive button could have been customizable as well. I mean, it's not a deal breaker, because when the camera's set up, I don't tend to adjust the camera anyway. I tend to leave it set up. So yeah, but I just think it would have been nice to have another custom button. Obviously, I suppose you've got two. You've got that one and that one, and maybe these. Maybe you can press these in, and so yeah. I actually, when the X Pro 3 was announced, I was a bit disappointed, because I didn't like that little screen on the back, and there's a few other things. Didn't like the Dura finish the way I thought it would. So I held away from the X Pro 3. I might get one for street photography only, but I couldn't justify that £2,000. Obviously, the price of it as well. I couldn't justify the £2,000 for just my street photography. I needed something I could use for work as well. And because they got rid of that back screen, it just meant that I wouldn't be able to use it for work as a video camera, because obviously it meant I have to have the screen flipped down. So when this was announced, this basically was a better option for me than the X Pro 3. Because now they've improved that lens, I feel that this is equally as capable as an X Pro 3 with an f2 23mm prime. Not quite as fast focusing, but a blinking good camera, especially for the considerable price difference. So yeah, I won't rub it on anymore. I will yeah, definitely get out and hopefully do a test shoot with this camera very, very soon. As soon as I've got that weather sealing thing on there, I'll be out in the rain and, you know, put it through its paces. But I'm thrilled with it. I really am. I think it's a stunning camera, and it's, again, as with all the X100, in fact all the Fuji cameras, it just makes you want to use it. Now, buying a new camera doesn't normally mean you're a better photographer, but it definitely means you want to get out and shoot. And this camera, even after having it a while, after the excitement has calmed down of owning the new camera, you still want to pick it up and shoot. And I definitely think that does in the long run make you a better photographer. So yeah, highly recommend the X100 system. Not necessarily the X100V. You don't have to jump straight into this, but they are a phenomenal camera. They're such a powerful camera for a small body. I love them. So yeah, can't recommend them enough. They've definitely changed my photography, definitely made me get into street photography and explore new areas. So yeah, I'm thrilled with this camera. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I don't think I've missed anything out. But yeah, let me know if you're thinking of buying this camera. If you've got any questions, put them in the bottom there. I'll do some focusing tests and stuff like that, and hopefully in the future videos I'll let you know if I find any issues at all. But yeah, it's not intended for me, that sort of camera anyway, but I'll try and do some running around after the dog sort of shots anyway. But thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, and you can follow me on my street photography journeys, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers, take care.